Hi everybody, welcome to our online computerized accounting class for spring of 2020. So you have reached this page in D2L after first reading the welcome announcement, and I'd like to talk to you about a few things about the syllabus, show you what book we're using, show you where you're going to turn in your assignments, and just kind of give you a general overview of the class. Okay, let's first take a look at the syllabus. Here we go. So here's the name of the class. This is a 2-credit class, so you'll probably notice as we go through the semester, the workload reflects that a 2-credit course would have. It's not going to be a ton of work because 2 credits just should not take too much of your time. So I think that you'll be happy with the workload in this class. This is an online class, so my office hours are online by appointment. In fact, all of the classes that I'm teaching this semester are all online, so I'm gonna very rarely ever be in my office since I'm gonna be at home connected to the internet. So definitely email me when you need something from me. I'll get back to you always quickly. I have on here, I'll always respond to you within 24 hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Sometimes I will reply even in the evenings, and sometimes I'll even reply on the weekends, but I just can't guarantee it because sometimes I do need to disconnect from work and disconnect from the computer and kind of recharge. So just keep that in mind whenever you're looking for a response from me. Just make sure that you're not waiting until the last minute to do your work, because the assignments in this class are due Friday nights and Sunday nights. And you can see Friday night, I'm not going to be responding to email, and I'm not going to be responding to email on Sunday either. So just kind of keep that in mind, plan ahead, and don't plan on doing things at the last minute. Our required textbook is shown on here. There's 2 ways in which you can get the textbook, and you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and show that to you now. So first option, and this is the best option for students who are maybe only taking just this one accounting class this semester, or just really prefer to buy the book so that you can keep it. So the book is available in the bookstore. Oops, sorry about that. The book is available in the bookstore, so you can get that there. Super easy. Or the other thing that you can do is if you happen to be taking other Cengage accounting courses this semester, so if you're taking financial accounting, managerial accounting, or you're in my tax class, which several of you are in my tax class, I saw. I have probably half the class is taking both classes, so that's super awesome. So another thing you can do is when you purchase your access for the tax class, for example, or the access that you have that you've already paid for that comes with your financial or managerial class, you can just upgrade to Cengage Unlimited. And when you upgrade to Cengage Unlimited, then you could have access to your managerial book, your tax book, and your QuickBooks book. The only thing is that's all online. So they would be ebooks. So then what you want to do, if you go that route and you don't like to have to use a book on a computer, I know myself, it doesn't work well for me. Number one, because my eyes just get strained from looking at the computer too long, and I really just want a piece of paper in front of me. And also when we're doing work on QuickBooks Online, you're going to be using the computer, right? So if you don't have 2 monitors so that you can switch back, so that you can look at QuickBooks Online and also the textbook at the same time, I think it's going to be really annoying. So I would either buy the book and then you can keep it, or if you upgrade to Cengage Unlimited, I believe that there's an option where you can rent the book. So do whatever's best for you. If you buy the book, then it's going to come with QuickBooks Online access. It'll be a little card that's in the first page of the book. And if you go the QuickBooks, or sorry, not QuickBooks, if you go the Cengage Unlimited route and then you're getting the ebook, this is the information right here. So then once you're logged into your ebook, if you go here to student downloads, then here is information. In order to view these files, you want to right click, open link in a new tab. So the second one down here, this is going to open up a little 3-minute video that's going to show you how you're going to get your access to QuickBooks Online. So if you buy the book from the bookstore, it just comes with QuickBooks Online access. If you use the ebook from Cengage Unlimited, these instructions are how you're going to access QuickBooks Online. So do whatever works for you. Okie dokie. Okay, this is super important right here. Read through this paragraph and make sure that you do this. So number one, a lot of students forget that they need to check their Normandale email address on a regular basis, preferably every day. Whenever we send any sort of communication to students, either through D2L or in an email, we're going to use your Normandale email address. So if you're not checking that, then you're not going to be able to receive our communications. So follow these instructions. And if you don't want to have to check your Normandale email every day, that's completely fine. Just go through and have your notification email address changed. So if I send you a message on D2L or I post an announcement for the entire class, then it'll go to whatever email you want to check every day. For me, I just have all my various email addresses. I teach at a few different schools and I have a personal email address and then I have another business email address. I just have them all set up on my phone. So I have like 5 emails that I check on my phone on a regular basis. And, you know, it's not a big deal. But do whatever works for you so that you make sure that you're getting any communication that I'm sending out to you. And then also too, in the instructions here, I have information on how to set up so that whenever, again, I post an announcement or 2, I grade your assignment, you're going to get a notification because it's not uncommon in this class for students to turn in incorrect work, even though incorrect work is completely unacceptable in this class. And I'm going to explain why a little bit later. If I give you a 0 on an assignment or tell you that something's been turned in the wrong format, you want to get that message right away and not get it like a week later when you go to do your next assignment. Okie dokie. Course description, you can take a look through that. Another thing that's super important, because of financial aid regulations, I'm going to make sure after the first week of class that everybody is participating. So in order to be considered a participating student, you need to have completed, excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. You need to have completed the Chapter 1 assignment. If you haven't done your work on that I have assigned on D2L, then I'm going to assume that you're one of the students that registered in order to get financial aid, and then I'm going to drop you from the class. So make sure that by January 19th, you have turned in your Chapter 1 assignment. Otherwise, that next week, I drop any non-participating students. And without fail, every semester, there's 1 or 2 students that I end up dropping. And then additionally, if you just stop participating in the course altogether for 2 weeks, I'm also going to drop you from the class because I'm going to assume that you decided that you don't want to be in the class anymore if I haven't heard anything different from you. If something huge comes up in your life and you're going to be turning in some assignments late, whatever, just let me know what's going on so that I don't think that you don't want to be in the class anymore and then I end up dropping you. Okay, all the due dates are listed here. If I were you, I would put them all in some sort of a calendar so that you don't forget any of them. You can see that for some chapters, there's only 1 assignment. For some chapters, there are 2 assignments. Sometimes you're doing 2 assignments in 1 week, and then you can see later in the semester, sometimes you're only doing 1 assignment per week. So just make note of all those assignments. This comprehensive case problem down here, this is basically your final exam. So once we get to this comprehensive case problem, you can see that I gave you 2 weeks to do it because it's a little bit more work than some of the other chapters. That is again, your final exam. So you're going to be completely working on your own with that. I'm not going to answer any questions other than clarification on instructions or something like that. But it's open book and you get to spend as much time on it as you want. So it's a completely no stress final. If you're in my tax class too, you'll notice that both of these classes this semester, QuickBooks and tax, are no stress classes. Nothing is timed, nothing needs to be super stressful. You get to use your book for both classes. You get to spend as much time as you want. With these types of subjects like QuickBooks, I just want you to learn how to use QuickBooks, and however much time it takes you to do that, obviously paying attention to due dates, then that's fine. If you want to look up things in your book a billion times, that's fine too, because after you do that several times, it's just going to start sticking in your head and you're going to know it and you're going to feel comfortable with the program. And that's my goal for everybody for this class. Okay, so super, super important, this policy right here. So because of the nature of this course being that each chapter of work builds upon itself, so what that means, we're going to start our own QuickBooks file. Everybody's going to have their own. And every week you're going to add to that QuickBooks file and you're going to learn how to do more things. So because we're not starting over every single week, you cannot make mistakes. Well, you can make mistakes, but you absolutely have to fix your mistakes, because if you record a transaction incorrectly, you use the wrong date, you use the wrong general ledger account, etc., it's going to carry forward and it's going to mess up all your future assignments. So for every single assignment, you must have 100% accuracy. And this is really good practice for those of us that want to become accountants, because guess what? We need to do our work with 100% accuracy. And when we get to the end of the month, it's okay. Maybe we made a mistake or two, but at the end of the month, when we're doing month end or the end of the year, for example, we have to find and fix all of our mistakes. And we also have to know how to do that. So as we're going through and I'm showing you what I want you to do for every chapter, in some of them, I'm going to make a mistake on purpose. And I'm going to even tell you, hey, look, I'm doing this wrong right now. Let's pretend that you did the same thing wrong. And then I'm going to show you at the end, when you go to run your numbers and you go, oh my gosh, my numbers don't balance. What am I going to do? I'm going to show you different ways to find your mistakes. So hopefully it's not going to be a big deal. Some students never make mistakes in this class, and some students make continual mistakes. So this class is definitely one that's going to uncover your attention to detail, whether or not you really have a very good attention to detail. If you do, you're not going to make many mistakes at all, if any. And if you don't have as good of an attention to detail and it's something that you need to develop, then you're going to have the frustration of having to find a lot of mistakes. And every once in a while, I'll have students that will mess up their QuickBooks file so much that they end up having to even completely start over. So just keep that in mind. Be super present and focused when you're doing your work, because it's very easy to make mistakes if you're distracted, if you have kids running around in the background, or you're watching TV, or you're trying to do assignments for 2 classes at once. Just don't do it. Go find a place that's quiet, be focused, and then your work won't take you hardly any time at all. This course can be very easy. You just have to have the right environment in which to do your work. Okay, so another thing you can see in there, for late assignment purposes, I don't consider your assignment to be submitted until it is 100% correct. So don't turn into me work that you don't know is 100% correct, and you're always going to know if it's 100% correct, because I'm always going to have check numbers for you. If your numbers match exactly with what I give you, then your work is good. If they don't match, then you need to spend the time figuring out what you did wrong and correct your mistakes. So for that reason, don't do your work the night it's due. The people that wait until the last minute to do their work and they're logging in at 9 or 10 o'clock at night and the assignment is due at midnight, those are the students that make the most amount of mistakes. And then they're tired and they're frustrated, and then they end up not being able to find the multiple mistakes that they make because they're working at the last minute. So what I recommend doing, and this is just kind of how I recommend being a student in general, and this is how I was when I was a student, always work ahead. Always, always, always. You'll be a much more successful person in your career. You'll be a much more successful student. Work ahead. So the first week, don't just do chapter 1, do chapter 1 and 2. And then if you're feeling really motivated and excited, do chapter 3 too. But don't just do the bare minimum, because life happens. We get tired, we get overwhelmed. Maybe that other crazy tax class that you're taking is just taking so much of your time this week, because that's kind of a hard course. There's just a lot of material to cover that's really, really dense. It's really nice to be able to say, you know what, I'm ahead in my QuickBooks class and I can just blow off that class this week because I'm ahead. I'm not gonna miss any due dates. So do that. And then one more thing I want to say about due dates and working ahead. Because I allow you to work ahead in this class, you can finish this class in a month if you want to. You can finish this class in 8 weeks if you want to. What I care about is that you get through all the material and you do it with, again, 100% accuracy, because those errors carry forward. So because I allow you to work ahead, I am completely inflexible about due dates. So don't email me and say, oh, this happened and I'm doing my work at the last minute, or I didn't do my work, can I have a couple day extension? The answer is always going to be no, no matter what's going on, because you can work ahead. So stay a week ahead, stay 2 weeks ahead, get 3 weeks ahead, do whatever, but don't ask me for assignment due date extensions, because I won't do it. Okay, so with this class, because everything is building on itself, chapter 4 builds on chapter 3, etc., you have to complete every single chapter in this class. You can't just not complete chapter 3. You can't just not complete chapter 4, because then you can't move on. So you have to complete every chapter in this class. You can't also get to the end and say, you know what, I'm just not going to do chapter 10, or I'm not going to do the final. If you do that, then you can't pass the class. So do all 10 chapters, do the comprehensive final, and most of you are probably going to get A's. Most students in this class get an A. If you're always doing your assignments on time, you're going to get an A, because if you're doing them on time and then you're doing them with 100% accuracy, which is required, you can't move on until you have 100% accuracy, you're going to get an A in this class. So because of that, this class is a super, super easy A. It's not an easy A for people that wait until the last minute and people that do their work late, because the late assignment penalties are pretty severe. And that's because I want to encourage you to always stay on top of your work and just be a responsible, productive professional, which is what we're hoping you become after you're done with Normandale here. Or some of you already are, and you're working on your degrees so that you can advance your career. So it's just the way it is in the real world. We got to get our work done on time. Okay, attendance policy. You don't ever have to come to class, and that's super awesome. You just get to listen to me talk on videos and show you what I want you to do every week, and that's it. Super flexible. I love it. I love online classes. They're the best thing in the world. Okay, the only exam, and it's not even really an exam, it's just a comprehensive problem that I'm not going to give you any help on, is that comprehensive case problem. Again, I'm not going to provide assistance on it because I consider it your final. That comprehensive case isn't going to ask you to do anything that you don't already know how to do and that you didn't already learn in the book. So if you forget how to do something, then it's up to you to go back through the book and relearn whatever it is that you forgot. Okay, late assignment policy. For any of the assignments, if you submit it after the due date, it's an automatic 50% penalty. So you can only get half the credit if it's submitted after the due date. And that includes my policy of it's not considered turned in unless it's 100% accurate. Once your assignment is more than a week late, you're not going to get any credit for it. But here's the kicker with that. So say that your chapter 4 assignment is a week late, you're not going to get any credit for it, but you still have to do it, right? Because You have to do chapter 4 before you do chapter 5. You have to do chapter 5 before you do chapter 6. I think you guys totally get the point. Okie dokie, 2-credit course. I don't anticipate that you're going to spend 6 hours a week. Some people spend a lot more time than others, but if you're super focused and you're reading through the chapter, I think it's going to take you less time. Here's how your grade is calculated. There's going to be some sample company assignments in chapters 3 through 10. That's 30% of your grade. Setup and tour of QuickBooks, that's what you're going to do in chapters 1 and 2. That's 10% of your grade. There's a case where you're going to be working in your own QuickBooks file throughout chapters 3 through 10. That's 40% of your grade. And then there's a comprehensive case problem that's 20% of your grade. So there you have it. You guys can read through everything else. Okay, we went over the syllabus. We talked about the book. The other thing, where am I? Okay, the other thing that I want to show you is homework instructions. Okay, in that section, I don't have anything yet because I'm about to record those videos after I'm done with this video. But the way that you're going to know what you're going to do for every single week's assignment is I'm going to make you a video and I'm going to say, go here, do this. This is the report I want you to turn in, etc., etc. So by the time you guys see this video, that section of D2L is going to be populated with a bunch of instructional videos. So when you're done with this, go and watch the chapter 1 video and do what you're supposed to do for chapter 1. And then I will also show you in the videos where to turn in your assignments. It's going to be the same for every assignment where you go. It's just going to be in assessments here on D2L. But what I'm going to have you do for every chapter is going to be a little bit different. Sometimes, well, that's all I'll say about that right now. But it'll be very clear. I'll have a video for what you're supposed to do for every single assignment. Your grades in this class are all going to be in the grade book here on D2L, so assessments, grades. I'm always going to grade things pretty quickly. After the due date, I usually will grade assignments within a day or two. Usually it's not going to take me any longer than that. And that's it, I think. So email me if you have any questions and go get started on that chapter 1 work and the chapter 2 work so that you're starting off the semester super strong with being 1 week ahead.